Yeah.
and then we get just a taste of how good Iroh is. These two went at it, and like it was evenly matched. But then Iroh just comes in and easily dispatches Zhao.
Yeah, man.
He had to have seen that coming beforehand too, unless he can move at the speed of Flash.
That's true. Okay, welcome back. We're gonna watch and react and discuss and analyze episode 3 of season 1 of Avatar the Last Airbender. Hopefully you find this engaging and enjoyable.
You know how the beginning always has the book and chapter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This time, and it's like white. It's always white.
Yeah.
This one has the sun rising with it,
Yeah.
which is unique, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I think I think episode 3 is the only one that has this, if I'm correct.
Looking for him, and I don't want anyone getting in the way.
Getting in the way of what? Prince Zuko.
Captain Zhao.
Oh yeah. We get to meet our first villain, Zhao.
Our first, yes, the antagonist or obstacle to our antagonist.
Yeah, I like the idea of always noting first lines. So his first line was "getting in the way of what,"
which is an indication of what he's about to do to Zuko the whole time.
Yeah,
he's gonna get in his way a lot.
Yeah, I'm curious. What was your guys' opinion about Zhao right now? What was your first impression when you first watched it?
Forgettable.
Same. He was a big presence early on, but then the way that the story develops, he becomes forgettable quite quickly.
Yeah.
Fair.
I mean, he slayed the moon, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes, that's something.
You wouldn't believe what happened. Uncle, tell Commander Zhao what happened.
Yes, I will do that. It was incredible. What? Did we crash or something?
Yes, right into an Earth Kingdom ship.
By the way, when we ask questions, we also are asking it to you guys. So go ahead and comment like what you guys think. And my question to all of us is, which do you think was like funnier? This moment between Zuko and Iroh, or when Aang was doing that thing with Sokka early on?
I think this moment was funnier.
Of course, obviously our genuine reactions would definitely prove it. But again, as a kid, I probably thought the scene with Sokka and Aang was a little bit more funnier than this moment. I didn't really think it's funny until now I was older, where it's just like, yeah, what are we doing again? It's kind of
Join me for a drink?
Sorry, but we have to go.
Prince Zuko, show Commander Zhao your respect. We would be honored to join you. Do you have any ginseng tea?
Do you guys see there's a theme going on here? Because it's like, you see first episode tea, second episode tea, again tea, you know, it's like...
Obviously, he's Iroh, man.
Yeah,
he loves tea.
It's kind of like it's a run gag.
Running
gag, you can see it becoming a thing.
Yeah, it's cool giving different characters those quirks, I guess.
Yeah.
It's almost like Elle being addicted to sweets and sugars and stuff like that.
The Avatar is the only one who can stop the Fire Nation from winning this war. If you have an ounce of loyalty left, you'll tell me what you found.
So this is really interesting just because it shows us how people view Zuko, and the way that he's speaking to him, it's almost disrespectful in a way, because the way that he phrased that last statement of, if you have any loyalty left in you, it shows us that Zuko is basically seen as like this disloyal kid who has no honor, not just with his father, but like
nation.
With the nation, or at least the entire political class in the Fire Nation.
You know, I really appreciate the scene way more now compared to back then. Now that I'm like doing a deep dive, like really paying attention, I'm like, they set up so many things in the dialogue. This introduction where Zhao was like, and Ozai is gonna take over the entire Earth Kingdom before. It's like he actually outlined a plan. It's great dialogue.
It also reveals how every nation is dealing with this problem, right? We know, for example, in the beginning that the Water Tribe, at least the Southern Water Tribe, they're basically screwed with this Fire Nation. But we didn't know how much the Earth Kingdom, are they being, like, is the Fire Nation completely took over? Or it's just sort of this thing where it's just this war and the Fire Nation has the upper hand. So this kind of reveals that they still don't have all control.
Fully in control.
They have to still take over their, it's good exposition. Oh my god, that seems so dangerous.
Just a new waterbending move I learned.
Katara is assuming the motherly role of like trying to be the protection, I guess, against the scary outside world for Aang. How do you feel about the fact that she is unwilling to kind of be honest with Aang?
Well, I think she's good intention. She can see that Aang is still a kid. That's the way I see it, is that she wants to protect him because of that.
Yeah, I think it's a little weird, although I can understand where she's coming from. At the same time, she kind of, in the beginning, they kind of emphasis like, yo, Fire Nation killed my parents. Fire Nation are these terrible people. So I don't see why
she's stalling
this part. Like if it was the, you know, what we're later gonna see, the monk Gyatso thing, that makes sense. Like I wouldn't want to show a kid a dead body.
It's almost like you're trying to protect him from seeing something that he's eventually going to see, which doesn't make sense to stall.
But what I also want to bring up here is that the idea of like the difference between Sokka and Katara, because like, you know, is Sokka the brains, Katara is like, you know, whatever, the heart, whatever. Yeah. And you can see how both of their strengths play well and why they're both needed. Like, it's not just like, oh, we need to always be like Sokka and rational, or we need to be all emotional. It's like both of these are important to play a role.
1, 2, 3.
That was stellar aim. That was pretty amazing aim, actually.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, so how do you guys feel about the humor in that scene specifically, comparing to the humor that was going on with him and Sokka? Like,
it's really childish humor.
It is.
I mean, Aang is a child, so, you know, it's, for me, I don't find it that funny, but it's fun, if that makes sense.
Yeah, what I noticed specifically is like, well, number one, how it builds upon the character, because it's like, you see how Aang's like a prankster, and then you see where he gets it from. Number two, how it's like, it's a joke, but it doesn't feel like we're just having a joke for a joke. It just feels like it's an actual, there's sort of a lesson with it. It plays with the story. So even if you don't find it funny, it's still important aspect.
Yeah.
That's the best way to describe it.
Commander Zhao, I've been hunting the Avatar for 2 years and I
failed. Capturing the Avatar is too important to leave in a teenager's hands.
Okay, I'm just gonna say, I love the sound design of this show. Like every time they use that fire bending, and then they have that the cymbal roll.
Meshes with the music in the background as well. The score.
It's beautiful.
It fits in perfectly.
And I also appreciate like the color design of the Fire Nation like scenes. It's a lot of red, and then the other scenes at the Air Temple, very blue. So the color contrast is something I've, for the first time, taken note of that I appreciate a lot.
That's Avatar Roku, the avatar before me.
You were a firebender? No wonder I didn't trust you when we first met.
I think this might be a retcon, but before Roku was not Kyoshi. It seemed like he was some guy with a sword.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's not Kyoshi.
Interesting. Because I think it's in order.
It's supposed to be in order.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be in order, but at the same time, it might not be in the order we think it is.
No, I feel like it might just be like a retcon.
But they had like Kyoshi in the first book, you know?
They did, but they could have changed it afterwards. I mean, there's a lot of changes.
Question for you guys. How many statues do you think there were?
Oh my God. At least like 110 or something like that, right?
110.
But if I had to speculate, I would say around like in the 300, 200 round.
Damn. Okay.
I'm thinking more.
Really?
Because they're like human-sized statues. And that room was pretty big, and they seemed to be pretty full. And it was even going along the walls. So I'm thinking it might even reach up to 1,000.
All right, so we got 1,000, we got 300?
Yeah, around 300.
All right, I'm gonna go with 500.
All right.
Can't outrun an airbender.
Exactly.
Hey, no fair!
I love how they did that chase scene.
Yeah.
I really appreciate the animation more.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was dynamic and you could feel it.
Yeah.
Especially when he jumped off the cliff.
Exactly.
Prince Zuko, have you forgotten what happened last time you dueled the master?
I will never forget.
It's a good scene, man.
Yeah.
This goes back to the dialogue, how it's always implying what happened in the past, and like, it's not like forced information, but it also
results in something happening.
Yeah, in the future, and setting it up, like this idea of the Andy Kai, like where it's like, well, you want to know what happened? I'm gonna show you what happened, kind of a thing. So it's implying what happened in the past, but we're gonna see it, what's gonna happen in the future.
Oh, we can count.
So I have two questions now. What started to make it glow? Is it because he went to the Avatar state? Because if that's the question, then why did now it started as opposed to the episode where he went to the Avatar state before?
So maybe it doesn't glow all the time.
My guess would be it's because he was in the air temple and he saw the past incarnations as well. So it sort of connected him more with his Avatar spirit.
Spiritual place.
Yeah.
The air temple.
Yeah, I guess I'm curious why in Korra, how come the statues never glowed? Or do they always glow and it's just whenever the Avatar state, do they always glow? Like, I'm curious, how does it work? Like,
so the point of this scene being right here is to be like a signal to a bunch of people around the world.
I get that.
The Avatar.
Yeah,
But the thing is that would have happened if this happens every time he goes into the Avatar state. It would have happened in episode 1.
Yeah.
When he went into the Avatar state.
Yeah. So it has no choice but to be connected to his circumstance right now, which is
the environment.
Yeah. Otherwise, every time he goes into the Avatar state, those things glow, which is not true.
Yeah.
Because this scene would make no sense.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. This wouldn't make more sense, but I would love, I guess, people in the comment if you can give your reasoning behind it. But my next question goes to Monkey Gyatso, which is you see that there's firebender soldiers like destroyed, kind of. So, what do you think he did to like kill them? Because if I remember, airbenders are not supposed to be. I mean, they're supposed to do self-defense, but it looked like it was more like a genocide. Like, I don't know if he took himself out and then they all just get destroyed. So what's your guys' theory about how these firebrations all got, obliterated?
Well, he's a master, so he could just suffocate all of them. Like, you know how Zahir easily suffocated the queen?
Yeah.
It could have been that times however many Fire Nation soldiers there were. There's a ton of different ways that airbenders can kill people. But yeah, I don't know. Their bodies seemed like they were intact.
Here's the only way I see it happening. There were people there, and he was trying to protect them. And then he was holding off all the firebenders while trying to also make the firebenders not attack, the other people. So he was distracted. Then he got like knocked over, and he was like, and then he woke up a little bit, and he was like, "Oh, they're attacking people." And then he used his airbending to like keep them all in that room. Yeah. And then they kept firebending, so then the oxygen with the fire heated up the room to the point where everyone in there died.
Okay, I can see that. I can possibly see that, because I was going to say the only way I can the way the bodies of the Fire Nation soldiers are, it only makes sense that it was like a fire. Something fire had to like destroy them, because I can't imagine airbenders the way airbending could take away people's life, but I can't imagine their body being like destroyed. So that's the thing.
Poor Saka.
This is why Amon exists, man.
Basics, Zuko. Break his root.
It's like a boxing match. Arrow's the coach.
They just like recooked it clean.
Do you think that if they fought again, like another round, do you think Zuko would win again?
That's a good question. I will say no, just because of Zhao's experience. He might have been able to adapt. But the fact that Zuko won the first round, it is an indication of his own skill as a fighter, specifically as a firebender.
Part of me would say I might put Commander Zhao a little bit there, but
because he had Zuko on the ropes in the beginning.
Because he did have Zuko on the ropes, and then Zuko got him under his skin, and that's sort of a.
But at the same time, like Zuko also can gain experience every time he fights Zhao and learn his fighting style too. So it's whoever's more adaptable.
Yeah.
I think Zuko would have probably came up on top again, just because throughout the show he consistently beats Zhao.
Yeah. Well, he continues to get better.
If you're a Zhao fan, you might think that after that blast, if Zuko actually aimed for his face, it would have been like, Zhao would have unleashed a fire blast from his mouth.
Maybe. Well, but the only one we've seen do that is Iroh.
Yeah.
Also, secondly,
and Ozai, and Aang.
Right. But also the fact that he decided to spare Zhao in this moment is another indication of the character of Zuko. Culturally speaking, we know that his father didn't show mercy on him. We know that like people around him are not expected to really show mercy. But he, even though he's like steeped in the Fire Nation at this point in the story, his natural inclination is still to show mercy.
That's very interesting. That's a good point.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Love this fight though.
Great fight.
Other than the reclip,
the
reuse of Zuko, like, swiping away that fire.
Yeah.
The animation and the fight was good.
Right.
Yeah.
Aang, I know you're upset. And I know how hard it is to lose the people you love. I went through the same thing when I lost my mom.
You want to say something?
No, I'm not gonna say anything. It's just, I get what's happening. It's just annoying with the whole thing of Katara, but
Oh, okay.
Katara hater.
I'm not a hater of Katara. It's just
You just really hate her.
She gets annoying sometimes. Katara is cool.
I'm surprised that worked.
It's okay. Looks like you
It's so nice of Momo.
I don't think he understood that.
Can't talk. Must eat.
Hey, little guy.
Momo's smart.
You, me, and Appa.
It was a solid episode of
Yeah.
establishing a lot of things.
You know what's so interesting? And I guess I'm glad they didn't do this because it would be generic, but it would have been interesting if Aang named Momo Monkey Gyatso, because that would have been an interesting kind of like a...
Right. But then, there's the whole theory that it is Monkey Gyatso, that it's his reincarnation.
Gyatso.
Yeah.
But I think rewatching this episode in a deep dive way has made me appreciate it a lot more. I do remember liking the fight between Zuko and Zhao the first time around, but the context of it makes it more impactful knowing how the series ends and whatnot.
Yeah,
I agree. I also feel like in terms of the story and character interactions, you can like, for example, I like the idea that Sokka, it starts off with him like wanting food, it ends with him getting food. It starts with Iroh getting the tea, ends with him getting the tea. So it's sort of these inside jokes, they get played through the story and kind of have their own little development and progression, which is really nice. And as well as the interactions with the characters and personalities you get to really see and why they act the way. Why is Zuko so fixated? You can see more. Or why is Aang so playful and childish? You can see more.
Which part of this episode did you like the most? The Avatar stuff or the Zuko and Iroh stuff?
I like the Momo stuff. No,
the Momo stuff.
The Momo stuff, okay. Stick with that answer. I like it.
I'm playing.
No, I think that the Zuko stuff was the best, specifically when Iroh comes in at the end of the fight and
grabs his foot.
It's a reversal of what we have been seeing throughout that whole storyline, because that whole storyline has been Zuko and Iroh basically taking the disrespect.
Taking L's?
From
taking L's.
Yeah, and then here at the end, it's the reversal, because Zuko proves himself skill-wise to be superior to Zhao in that fight, and then Zhao acts dishonorably, and Iroh comes in and says to his face that you're being...
puts him in his place.
Puts him in his place. It's a reversal of what we've been seeing throughout the entire episode. And so that for me was a very satisfying sort of concluding note for this episode.
Yeah,
that was my favorite part.
I feel like Aang's story was, it's like Zuko's story is about him taking L's and trying to get a W, while Aang, I feel like it's about him getting W's and learning to take it out.
Yeah.
Summed it up. We figured out this episode. We cracked it.
Let's do it.
So yeah, that's why I would definitely like the Zuko storyline more, and it's just the backstory the development, and you can always see these little things that we see in the future, like the idea that, you know, no matter how much Zuko goes in trouble, Iroh's gonna help him, or no matter how much Zuko's in a tight spot, he'll always find himself a way.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you really see these elements and how it builds on his character.
It's crazy.
So it's good.
And we've talked about this before, but early on, like back when we were kids, this was like Aang's story. But the older that I get, every time I watch this show, it's like, this is so much about Zuko as it is about Aang. Like, Zuko is almost the second main character of this show, and it's made clear.
He's definitely is.
It's made clear every time I come back to it. So yeah, appreciate it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, let us know your guys' thought about episode 3, book 1. You guys will probably have to watch it in the same way we did to really see those details, but it definitely, it's great.
It is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think I take back my words about book 1. I never thought book 1 was bad, but like I felt like it was not nearly as good as book 2 and 3, which probably is true, but but at the same time, I'm starting to appreciate book 1 way more.
Yeah.
I would agree. Well, we'll see how, you know, our thoughts and opinions change as we go throughout this, but definitely leave your own thoughts and opinions in the comments.
Yeah.
And we will see you later.
Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.
Peace.